So welcome everybody here. This is Kyle McGregor here. Very, very excited, founder of here at VIP Global. We have so many great things to share with you today, especially on this special day of Father's Day, 2017. We have Ms. Jeannie Marshall, ultimately one of the most influential people that I've ever met in regards to the personal development side of things, and really connecting and helping people see their inner power, which is phenomenal. And we also have Mr. Philip Llewellyn here today, really one of the foremost marketers I've ever met. Just an amazing man and team builders, and knows how to help create a buzz and excitement about businesses and help people grow as individuals as well. So we're very, very excited to have both of these here, especially the initial stages and timing that we have here within the e-commerce space that we're growing in tremendous amounts. If you realize what's happening in the e-commerce space right now, just statistically, if you know, we're growing in huge amounts on a internet or a global level. From this year, just e-commerce alone, by the end of 2017, $2.3 trillion industry. By the end of 2020, estimated to be over $4 trillion. Now, you take an industry that's literally doubling in size within a couple of years, and it's called a clue. And all boats rise on a rising tide. And the fact that we have a solution to a problem within the industry that is growing in such leaps and bounds. You just heard on news here in the United States, like huge companies like Best Buy are partnering with like Amazon to be able to get online, shipping more efficiently and effectively. You've got places like Walmart that are buying things like Jet.com to have more of an online presence. Guys, these are all clues. We have traditional commerce that's going in a totally different direction. Companies going out of business that are downsizing, right-sizing, or going bankrupt because e-commerce has literally shifted our world forever. So now we have the opportunity to benefit and financially gain from it and be at the beginning stages of a company that has a solution to the problem within that. Now is the time to take massive action. So you're learning about how you can actually get to market without having to disclose so much information, but pique curiosity where people want to know more about what we do. That's the key. And I couldn't see anything better to have someone share this information than Mr. Philip Llewellyn and Ms. Jeannie Marshall to be able to convey this information here today. So, Philip, in line here with us today.
I am Kyle. Thank you very much indeed, and thanks for hosting the call and introducing myself and Jeannie. Appreciate that. As you're busy, go off and doing your socializing down in that wonderful part of the world that I've fallen in love with. I've decided one of my big hairy goals was always to have a nice home. Well, I've just kind of decided now that I don't want a nice home because I don't want to root myself anywhere in one place around the world, especially with what's going on and the opportunity we've got to build a global business. So I've decided one of my homes is going to have to be in California, Southern California, and I'm kind of narrowing it down to the part of the world that you're currently in right now, Kyle. So I'll confess to that. So thanks for joining us in that part of the world, and in the part of the world where Jeannie's joining us from as well. It's my pleasure to welcome Jeannie onto the call as basically my co-host for the first part of this evening's team call. And the reason for that is I want to discuss the first part of the call about Incentivize and about the platform that we have that is going to help us generate the community and create the ecosystem that I firmly believe that we're on the threshold of creating here. I really do. And you listen to what Kyle just mentioned in his introduction about big businesses. Okay, all the biggest businesses are online or in e-commerce right now. They're online e-commerce, or they're a platform like Uber that shares something, or a platform like Facebook that shares something. Okay, but we're now providing something here with e-commerce and incentivized shopping where everyone gets paid for buying something. It's a truly revolutionary model, and I honestly believe, looking forward to 2020 and beyond, I think it'll be the norm. I think people will be saying, "Look, you expect me to buy online from you and you're not sharing me a percentage of your profits? How very dare you?" I honestly think it's coming that way. And when you hear about Amazon buying up companies like Whole Foods, what is it, $13.9 billion or something? It then goes to prove my adage I've been saying for 8-9 months to anyone who cares to listen. It's not about building the business. It's not about building a company. Because guess what? Companies come and go, change hands, be bought out, things happen on boards, whatever. We've seen that time and time and time again. So the future is in creating a community and an ecosystem we can all be a part of, no matter what companies come and go. And that's our overriding aim and philosophy here with VIP Global. And so that being said, Jeannie, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on and share this with me on the first part. I know that you set me a load of questions regarding Incentivize that I asked you to ask me, things that people need to know, either vendors, members or customers, whatever the interest is. And I appreciated very greatly all those questions. I think I answered maybe 17 or 20 of them. And I'd love you, if possible, Jeannie, because you wasn't able to attend that meeting, if you could go through and maybe pre-see something that was gone on in that meeting. I know people can access the replay anytime, but if you can give us a sort of 5 or 7 minute summary of some of the takeaway points and recommend maybe obviously they watch it sometime, and also trailer the fact that we've got a part 2 to this incentivized training and question and answer session coming up this Monday, which is tomorrow at 12 PST as well. Are you there with me, Jeannie?
I am here. Yes, I am here. Thank you so much for that introduction. It's a delight to be here. And Kyle, what a wonderful setup. So I'd like to, first of all, share a little bit about what for me is a real draw right now. And this may surprise many of you, but I'm really drawn to the whole idea of creation, that we are creating something. We are creating something that some people have some information about that is not ready to be shared, and we're doing what we can to articulate this into manifestation. And when you listen, and I truly recommend that you listen to part 1 of working with vendors, because you will hear Philip being the questioner and the answerer, and absolutely creating an important aspect of all of this. So, and many of you I know have been involved in creating different things. If you're a cook, I mean a real cook, not somebody who opens a package and puts it in a microwave, then you know that while you're making the sauce and doing this and doing that, you have a mess in your kitchen. And while you might be going for that final result, the presentation of the food, when you have a joy in the creative part of that, it makes all the difference in the actual eating of the food. So we are preparing this. And it's really appropriate, I think, for me to quote somebody in my own field who is a true leader and a leader of leaders. And her name is Meg Wheatley, or Margaret Wheatley, if you want to Google her. And she's written many books about leaders. She's in the organization development field. And I want to quote something that she said at a conference I attended. And there were probably 1,000 or so of us there at the conference, all organization development consultants. And she said, the universe needs a mess in order to be creative. Well, you cannot even imagine the collective size of relief in that audience, because we are all in the act of creating all of the time. And I've tried to find that quotation on the internet. Many times I've tried to look for it. That was just for us. She said it to us. I've never seen that it's written anyplace, but that deep awareness that it's necessary that we have these disparate pieces all over the place. And we know a little here, we guess a little there. We have people like Kyle and Philip and others who know pieces or expect certain things might happen. So the more we can really get into the spirit of that, you don't have to have the enthusiasm for a mess like I do, for sure, but by having that awareness that creativity requires a mess. It requires us to have things to choose from to create. Then when we want to work with vendors, for those who want to work with vendors, there will be a deeper appreciation for what they have gone through, because we're particularly looking for the creators of these products to bring to our platform. And so that can just help to open you to the kinds of products you want there, the kinds of people you want to work with. So I really want to emphasize part one of the two parts, and we may have 3 or 4 parts, who knows how many. But anyway, for part one, which was recorded last week, and it is posted in the VIP Global Upgraded room. It really was prompted, I would say, or my part was prompted by a real need to know information. I was annoying Philip. He probably won't admit this publicly, but I was annoying him. I need information. I want to talk to these vendors. Tell me what to do.
To end publicly ever.
And so anyway, he came up with this idea of my writing out a bunch of questions, and in doing that, they came from me, definitely from my curiosity, my need to know. And he spoke to them. He read those and he responded to those eloquently. And there's so much information in there because he was doing the whole show, and so he just kept talking in the way he does that. So I hope you will go back to that. Now, tomorrow, the plan is for us to review some of that and to make sure that it's clear what we can be clear about. It can also be helpful to be very clear what we cannot be clear about at this point. So we will do that. We'll do whatever we need to do at where we are right now. And so if you're able to listen live to that, that would be great, because you'll be able to ask questions in the text chat room. So it will be at noon California time, that's Pacific time in North America, or in the evening in the UK, 8 o'clock. And if you're in another time zone, I'm sure you can figure out yours by those two. And then that will also be recorded, or the replay will be posted in the VIP Global's upgraded room, so that you can have that and refer to that, and we'll be questioning for a while until we really have brought this into creation. So Philip, is that helpful, what I've said?
Absolutely, Jeannie. Thank you. Really helpful. It's helped crystallize thoughts of everyone listening live and with the replay. Thank you very much for the time you've taken to provide the content for what is going to be a series of at least 2 webinars, because you've provided the question which allowed me to provide such value last week just by answering the questions. And probably I did, when no one's on to stop me talking, maybe I ramble a bit too long about something, but hopefully it's mostly about value. Before I go on to talk about the second part of tonight's team call, Jeannie, I just want to, while I still got you on here, because I'm going to talk shortly about the training that I'm going to be doing this Wednesday on our Wednesday VIP Global Training. And I've changed the subject matter. It's one that we've not trained on before. And it's going to be how to promote and market your business without openly promoting and marketing your business. Okay, so it's for anyone that maybe is, and I'm trying to kind of keep this as honestly as generic as possible, because here's the thing, okay? You may be promoting a business with VIP Global that I'm also involved in, or you may be promoting a different business as well as, because realize you may be in a business like currently I'm in, where there is not a non-compete clause. Okay, but here's what people have to realize. When you say there's not a non-compete clause, there are still terms and conditions and policies and procedures. All right, so let me give you an example to trailer the call, then I'll bring you back in if I can, Jeannie. What I'm going to be talking about really is something that goes like, if you don't want to promote openly your business for whatever reason, or you can't promote it for any other reasons, if you're known as the go-to person for something, and you have a good living or a reputation for that, but you also now want to introduce a secondary or a third, or who knows, maybe it's the time of your life cycle of your business, the wealth cycle of your life, that maybe you'd want to introduce a third or a fourth income stream, because realize most millionaires have on average 7 income streams, okay? So it's not necessarily in your interest to always market things openly anyway. So that's something I'm going to be touching on in a bit, and something I'm going to go into greater detail on Wednesday's training as well. But it's really more what we should be doing anyway, right? But as I said, more of that later. Jeannie, I got to tell you, I think you have in America, and I think you have in Australia, not sure about Canada, about having Dragon's Den. It's called Dragon's Den here. I think you call it the same in Australia and America. Is that right, Jeannie?
I'm not sure what it is, so give me a clue.
Okay, so it's basically 5 people who sit in front of a room in a den who are the dragons, who have loads and loads of money, and they're rich investors. And they have these hopefuls come into their den. Now, these hopefuls are product owners, designers, inventors, and they go on to be interrogated, basically. They give a 2-minute pitch of their product, their marketing, their sales, their experience, and basically they say, I'm looking for, I'll give you an example. I watched one this evening, okay? In fact, I have it on pause because I was watching it this evening live on BBC here in the UK. So anyone that's not watched Dragon's Den or has watched Dragon's Den tonight, Sunday, BBC 2, 7 p.m., I'm referencing the program, okay? There's a lovely couple in there with a wonderful product range. And it's about all natural, organic, coconut oil range of products specifically for babies and toddlers' skin, okay? Wonderful product range, and sort of fitted, and I'm looking at this thinking, I hope they don't invest, because I'd love to get these people on Incentivize, right? And that was a terrible thing to submit to, but I honestly thought it. And then I saw, I'd never been known, actually they commented on it, it's never been known in Dragon's Den sort of history before. 4 of the 5 dragons had to exclude themselves because 4 out of the 5 are already invested in a company with a similar, soon-to-be produced and marketed product or product range with the same marketing ethos and ingredients. How bizarre. I'm thinking, right. So these dragons that are ahead of the curve, they're already investing in this, okay? And then the 5th one decides that he's out as well because the margin isn't going to be enough, and he wanted 30% of the company. He wanted 30% of the company that they weren't prepared to give away 10, so he was asking for 3 times as much. And damn, do you know what? At the end, they negotiated him down to 25%, and they gave him 25% of their company for $50,000. And I thought, I was a bit disgusted this evening on a few levels, but one of them thinking, these people come on this program, and they normally, if you know the program, 50-60% of them are laughed out of the Dragon's Den because someone dislikes the product, or they take a dislike to what they said, or I know it makes good television, right? But honestly, there's a serious point here. Most of the people that are refused on Dragon's Den would bite their hand off at getting a free store on Incentivize for free with no upfront costs, where they could get their products in front of soon-to-be tens and hundreds of thousands of our members who are going to be incentivized to buy those type of products. Honestly, the power of what we have with the incentivized model and the incentivized sharing platform that we're promoting with Incentivize is probably bigger than most people even comprehend themselves right now. It took me a long time to realize the power of this, because understand, you got people prepared to go on TV and be ridiculed for the hope of getting £30,000 to £50,000, okay, which is $50,000 to $65,000, $70,000, and have to give away 25-30% of their company to get that level of investment to take it to the next level. Well, imagine being able to go to said small investor, small business owner, small vendor, small inventor, and say, well, look, I can't give you $50,000, but I can give you 25,000 pairs of eyes next month who will take a look at your product. And if it's something they like and it's at a price that they like, you can probably sell to a fair percentage of them. And if you're going to make £5, $10, $8, whatever it is, profit on every one of the sales you're going to make, and it could be a couple of thousand a month, then that is worth more to them than a $50,000 per dollar cash injection. Okay, that's actually real customers. That's real sales. That's real profit without having to give any of their company away, without having to pay anything up front. In fact, they don't have to pay a single penny until such time as a sale is made. No upfront costs whatsoever in selling a product online to a market of potentially tens, if not hundreds of thousands. Jeannie, what do you think of that?
Well, as you were talking, I'm not familiar with the show. I'm not a television watcher anyway. But a lot of what I was thinking is the very people I want to work with as vendors would not be interested in going on a show like that. So it was really fun to kind of tap into that, because it made me realize how, I may not be choosing the best word, but how desperate some people are to get a sale or get sales or get recognition.
That's an appropriate word, yes.
Yeah, there is some desperation in there, isn't there? And I have been talking with a few vendors, very carefully selected people who are really getting this and opening to it, even though I've had very limited information, but I've known enough. And many of them, of course, will go to, well, what is the percentage and will I make enough? But then when we expand the conversation to some other aspects that I consider are important, it's like the whole conversation changes. You know, the idea of being a community with the customers and other vendors, that is, we're creating a community, and that there is an opportunity to showcase, and there is a ready-made customer base who will be buying month after month. So if somebody has a product that is renewable or needs renewing, then the whole thing changes when we get into a conversation and not just a presentation, somebody pitching to us to be on our platform. We're seeking them out, and then we're in a dialogue. And not everybody's going to be right for this, but I'm getting more and more in touch with what it is that we are offering to these vendors. And it may turn out to be something totally different from what I'm now imagining. But I just think we have a specialness here that is going to grow, so that we will forget that we're competing with Amazon or any of these other platforms that are humongous. I mean, who has $13 billion to buy another company? You know, we're not there. We're in fact, one of the persons I hope will come on as a vendor really did point to Amazon. And he said, so what could you do differently? I said, we will care about you. We want you because I want you because of what you are doing that is so special. You won't ever get that from Amazon. So light bulbs went on all over him. So I think the more we can talk about these things of what is the specialness that we can bring, then we can do anything.
Yes, exactly. And let's talk, if you want to talk specific sort of sectors that really, because here's the thing, realize this, everybody, probably 70 to 80% of the people that first come into your mind as vendors for incentivize probably won't be suitable for the platform for various reasons, okay? The overriding reason may be that they may just not have the margin in the product themselves because they're either not close enough to the source or their pricing is too price sensitive to have the margin to give. But at least 50 to 60% of those 7 or 8 out of 10 people or vendors would be completely suitable for our affiliate platform. Okay, you take it on the low side. Now, I'm currently talking to, a company here in the UK, right? A big box retailer that has warehouses above their shops, okay? And we spend a fortune on them, especially over Christmas and stuff. Well, they're currently offering 4.5%. 4.5% of the turnover. Well, that's low, but most margins on super affiliates are between, say, 7 to 11% up to 20-25%. Now, that fits in most people's business models, so they could be affiliates. Now, they won't be premier brand partners. They won't be on incentivized. Okay, they won't be part of qualifying purchases. They probably will sell less. But every single sale they make via incentivized or via our affiliate platform, they wouldn't have made if they weren't on there, and it cost them nothing to make the sale. And that is key in this day and age where people are crying out for search engine optimization, crying out for good social media traction, crying out for decent quality traffic, crying out for sales of their products to end consumers. And we've got all that wrapped up in a bundle. And currently, right now, whether you're in the USA, Canada, America, UK or Australia, we can offer certain vendors for the right products and the right vendors a completely free retail solution tailored to an incentivized and targeted marketplace. That's gold. That really, really is gold. It really and truly is. So anyway, let me move on. Thanks, Jeannie, for that. Maybe you will stay on with me for the second part as well. Why not? I'm going to move on. I'm going to wrap this up in 10 minutes, guys. But on Wednesday, I'm going to be discussing really, as I said, how to market your business really without necessarily marketing it for various reasons, whatever the needs may be, whatever the reasons may be. But listen, everything has changed. We have to realize this. Everything is changing, is in a constant state of change, especially when you're talking e-commerce and you're talking online. It has been an amazingly rapid evolution of this industry over the past 15, 20 years. And if we go to the last 5 years, we can see such an acceleration of that growth as well. The speed of duplication, the speed of growth is getting ever faster. And people's patience are getting ever shorter as well. There are so many different changes in platforms, different types of business models out there. Even now, we've gone as a global community of retailers. We've gone from buying consoles and games and TVs and everything we basically had in our shop, in our homes, from bricks and mortar stores, okay, and dragging them home in the back of the car. Now we go online and we get them delivered. That is where the vast majority of the market is going. It's moving at an ever-increasing space. So what we're going to realize is when we market things now currently, especially if you're in a place where maybe you've signed an NDA or maybe you're not able to market something publicly that you're doing, then what you do is you create a story, you create a buzz, you create, for want of anything better to say here, a curiosity. If you can create a curiosity of them wanting some more information, okay, and that doesn't mean you need to discuss comp plan. It doesn't need you mean to discuss if there are any bonuses. Doesn't need you need to know who gets paid what on the third level of the comp plan on the second Sunday when the moon is red, right? It doesn't matter, guys. What matters right now, I said to someone said to me the other day, Philip, how do I market a business when I can't market it? If I can't say anything to anyone. And here's what I said, right? Honestly, tell people you can't tell them anything right now. Hey, guess what? I can't really tell you anything right now because I've signed this NDA thing which stops me telling you. But as you know, I've been involved in XYZ for ABC time, and I've learned so much. What I've learned as well is, okay, ABC. Well, what's happening is, if I can get you to sign the NDA, I can give you much more information, because this is a completely different opportunity that has XYZ added to it, and this bit that didn't work taken away from it. I can't give you any more information right now, because we're not even in pre-launch yet. So, if you're one of these people that have got a curious mind, that's got an entrepreneurial spirit, and maybe you've got a few $100 that is kicking in spare right now that you could maybe invest in the future, then take a look at this, because I think it might be right up your street. What's your best email address? I'll send you over something. You may have to sign it and send it back to me. Guys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, that is enough to get people to want to see the next step in the process. If you create sufficient curiosity, if you empower people by creating curiosity in their mind that will enforce them to take a step of action, then you've achieved your goal. It's not your job to sell them on anything right now. In fact, it's not your job ever to sell them on anything ever. You can write that down. That is not your job. Your job is to create enough curiosity to get them to want to take an action, to take a step, to click a button, to take the next step in the process. Just to give them enough information. Not too much, not too little. Jeannie, do you want to come in here? But just enough information.
Just enough. Absolutely. I love that word.
I'd love your contribution on this part, please, Jeannie, because I know you and I have had conversations about this as well. So is there anything you'd like to add about, you can say so much more when you say a lot less?
Absolutely. And when you engage in a conversation, so that in fact you are asking questions that give you information to know where to go next, so that really being in a dialogue, which is what I like to create with people. And sometimes that dialogue begins on Facebook private messaging. I don't have any problem with starting a dialogue there. And I think that there are so many different ways that we can say how much we can share right now, because we can say there are certain pieces we can't say. We can also express opinions, and we can also say what I'm hoping is, and to have different ways of kind of suggesting that there's something coming and we don't really know what it all is. We are in the act of creating it right now. Do you want to be part of that? Those are the kinds of people we need to be looking for now. People who are willing to be in a mess, who are willing to not know. Later, when things are more complete, we'll bring in another kind of person. But right now, I think we need to be finding those who have a great deal of tolerance for ambiguity, for the messiness, for being okay with not knowing, and being okay with asking questions and getting answers that may not be quite as specific as they want, but if you give them enough, they will be satisfied with the answer.
Exactly. And it's all part, really, of life's great sorting process as well, because if we realize that success, like our future, turns up one day at a time, right? So if we can take the...
and sometimes it turns up yesterday too. So
yeah, but so many people, they look at their big, hairy, audacious goal 2 years in the distance, right? This castle on the mountaintop somewhere, or whatever, the gilded cage, or the beach house, whatever it is people have, and they get up and go, "Oh, I'm nowhere near there again today." And I always say, look, bring some stage goalposts home closer to you. What's your month goal? What's your 3-month goal? What's your 6-month goal? What in 12 months' time would be a resounding success for you? Bring it closer, and then take actionable steps. But when you can actually wrap it up in never really making it about the company, never really making it about the comp plan, never really making it about the products, because really you should never be making it about anything of those things. It's never about the company, the comp plan, the products. It's never about the founding members. It's never about any of those things. It's never about the co-founders, the CEO of the company. Everyone in the business seems to think all those things are important, and I'm here to tell you none of them are. Because everyone is thinking, what's in it for me? And that's what's important. If we can find out from them what they want out of life, and then position ourselves as being able to help provide that, okay, by a lifestyle change, by certain actions and abilities that they have deep within themselves. All they need to do is realize that it's there and they can be empowered to release it, because we've all got that greatness inside us. We all have what it takes. Okay? We were all born naked into this world, exactly the same thing, mostly men or women. Okay, what we've had since then is had most of it taken away from us, stripped away from us, and fear installed, fear of failure, being told all the time, you can't do that, you'll never do that, give up now and get a decent job, cut your hair and get a decent job, you can never achieve that, don't do that. We're all conditioned through life as a childhood. Fortunately, some are not, right? But honestly, we all have it within ourselves to be whatever we want to be. We just got to be told that enough by enough people and start believing in ourselves. And that's what excites me about working with Jeannie Marshall and such other wonderful people in VIP Global, because I love the community spirit that we're gathering together here. I love the fact that we really do care about each other and the community that we're building here together. And I'm deem it a privilege to be a part of that. I'm looking forward to the next evolution. I know there could be people listening to the replay, people on the call right now. Maybe some of the conversation has gone over your head or it's gone lost. Well, what I would say is get back to your, at least your upgraded Upline Store member, okay? Or get back to their sponsor if they're not active right now, and find out exactly why Kyle introduced June as being a pivotal month, because some of the actions that we can take, and we've still got a week and a bit left of it, there's some of the actions that we can take in June can really impact not just the rest of 2017, but the rest of our lives, because I honestly believe that if people can take action on something that they see before anyone else, and then make a decision, okay, to move forward, because once you make a decision to move forward, you unblock that plug that's keeping all your passion held back and your passion in check. So like I said, until you actually commit to doing something and take the action that proves that the committal has been done, in other words, if you're signing something and returning it, you've signed it and returned it. Because until you've done that, how can you ask anyone else to sign and return theirs? Right? As simple as that. If you're asking people to go and achieve something as a goal in their business this month, then make sure that you are able to achieve that as well, or at least strive for it, because don't ever ask anyone to do something you can't do or not prepared to do yourself. And with that, thank you, Jeannie. We're keeping it short, 50 minutes. Well, actually, no, we started a bit later, so I'm actually going to give you an open microphone here, Jeannie, whether you want to wind this up with me, or you want to ask any questions on what's been discussed, or whether you want to frame anything for Wednesday. I'll end with this and say, for anyone who wants to get the most out of the training on Wednesday, it's going to be slightly different to what we've done before, as I said. But if you go to give you an idea, and hopefully this will get some of you inquisitive as well, if you go to YouTube and search for Bruce Lee Enter the Dragon, and search for this scene, okay? So Bruce Lee Enter the Dragon, search for The Art of Fighting Without Fighting, okay? The Art of Fighting Without Fighting by Bruce Lee. It's a scene from Enter the Dragon. Watch that, and then we'll apply that to how to market your business without marketing your business. Anything you'd like to come in and say at the end, Eugenie?
Well, I know more about what might be happening tomorrow, so I might just put in another plug for that, talking about working with vendors. And I know that Wednesday will be an extraordinary experience, because I think it is really important to look at how we market, because we see some things on Facebook that are far from marketing at all. They're not even marketing. And I love the idea of a Tai Chi move. That's what I think of when you talk about Bruce Lee, of just that whole idea of using energy in a way that makes you master of the energy without beating anybody up, that you use the energy in a truly ethical way. And I think we all can share a lot and learn a lot from each other about being really ethical and powerful and empowering to everyone involved in this and making this an extraordinary community. Yes.
Absolutely. And I'm going to share with you some positive news to end this call. I only found out of it myself earlier on today. But the Nutritional Ninjas, who are the first vendors I fetched on to incentivize, and are the first UK vendors. And not only have they announced that they're happy to ship to the USA and to Canada for $20 for a 2 kilo shipment of products, they'll also ship to Australia. That will cost, however, $30 to get it shipped to 2 kilos there. They'll send it directly to your home address, so no worries about shipping. Cover $20 in America, North Canada, and $30 for Australia, so that's good. But the even more positive news that I have to tell you is that our first vendors in the UK, the first ones I've brought in, are not only seeing the common sense behind the incentivized business model. Hey, they're entrepreneurs, they're business people. Of course, they see the sense behind the whole thing. So I have to tell you, I've had an NDA back from those, and they're going to be within the new business that we're building with them as the vendors, and now going to be founding members of the company that we're looking forward to build as well. So I'm extremely excited about that. When we can have vendors and that come onto the platform purely as vendors, but then they see what we're doing, they get into the community, they understand where we're going, they get to see it as a business to the extent that they're prepared to actually invest and become members themselves. So that's powerful, and that shows you as well that the actual business model that we're building behind the scenes that's going to be presenting this e-commerce model to the rest of the world makes sense to entrepreneurs and business people. And I love that, okay? And I'm going to end it on a controversial note and say, honestly, right now, you can build a big business without ever having to talk to a network marketer again. Just talk to entrepreneurs, business people, and people know how to turn a profit. And on that revolutionary note, I'm going to end the call. Jeannie, thanks for your company. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I look forward to our Monday Masterclass tomorrow at 12 o'clock PST, 8 o'clock GMT, and the Wednesday training that's going to be at 6 p.m., 1800 PST as well. Thanks, Jeannie. Appreciate you and your time. Thanks, everyone, for jumping on the call. Keep it close to your chest, but keep spreading the news. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.